What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here for my NFL Week 8 power rankings, post Week 7, ranking every NFL team entering Week number 8, which, man, this season is difficult to rank teams. It's difficult to rank the best teams, it's difficult to rank the worst teams, and it's certainly tough to rank the average teams because there's so many of them. Let me know in the comments section below how you guys feel, and let me know your power rankings in the comments. Any comment helps this video reach more viewers. Thank you, bottom line viewers. Gronk spike the like button, and let's get started with the power rankings. At number 32, we have the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are still the worst team in my opinion. They still project to get that first overall pick. I know they have more wins than the Houston Texans. I know they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had a very impressive performance, there's no doubt. They ran the football on the BUCS when they needed to in the second half. They played solid defense, but I felt like that BUCS game was more about the problems of the BUCS and the BUCS shooting themselves in the foot, more so than the Panthers dominating, more so than the Panthers outright being amazing. I do expect the Panthers to come back down to earth very, very soon. So, yes, the Panthers had an encouraging performance from their new head coach, from the new set of running backs, and, of course, the defense continued to play hard. So that was nice to see. But I'm not really going to move them up. If you want to move them up, you could put them at number 31. I don't hate that. I have the Houston Texans. I do feel the Texans are more consistently competitive than the Carolina Panthers, which is why I have them at number 31. It's nothing to really do with wins and losses. The Texans, of course, only have one win on the season. There are a couple teams you could argue are the worst in the NFL. The Texans are certainly one of them. They did keep that game close against the Raiders, but eventually the Raiders were able to pull away and prove that they're the superior team. I do like how the Texans play defensively. I like how they make you earn it. I like their corners and their secondary so far this year, and I do like their running game. I also feel like Davis Mills is not a bad quarterback. He can make some throws out there. They just are lacking superstar talent. I've said it all year long. I'm intrigued to see what they do with Lovie Smith next year and how this team looks to evolve moving forward. Look for Brandon Cooks to potentially be on the block at the trade deadline. At number 30, I got the Detroit Lions. The Lions, you could argue, might be the worst team in the league right now the way they're playing. Their defense did play better against the Cowboys, but you do got to wonder how much is that Dak Russ? How much is that the offense of the Cowboys just in general not playing very well this year? And then the offense of the Lions is continuously getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and Jared Goff looking like Jared Goof out there. So with the Lions offense not playing the way they were early in the year and the defense being one of, if not the worst in the league, it's hard to rank the Lions very high. At number 29, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who move anywhere from 25 to 30 in my rankings on a given week. The Steelers, I felt, played it close against the Dolphins, but I definitely felt the Dolphins were the better team in that game. It felt like the Steelers had an opportunity to come back and potentially win that game at the end, but not overly impressed by their offense, not overly impressed by their quarterback situation. That keeps them from ranking high at all on this list. They will continue to fight. They will continue to give teams close games because of Mike Tomlin and company, but I just don't love this football team offensively. At number 28, the Washington Commanders. Commanders with an impressive performance versus the Green Bay Packers, starting to get it going offensively with the new quarterback in there. I do like Robinson and Gibson out of the backfield. I do really love Terry McLaurin. I do feel like when they've got Dotson and Samuel in there, they're pretty dynamic at receiver. They've been missing Dotson for quite some time. Samuel, it's been that hybrid weapon for them. Offensive line's been missing pieces. They've been able to overcome it. The offense wasn't the reason they won, though. Their defense finally showed up against the Packers. Their defensive line was getting penetration against the run game, penetration against the pass game, and playing well on the back end. So William Jackson could be gone at the trade deadline. This is a team that should be selling players, but they definitely still have talent. I do question the coaching. At number 27, the Chicago Bears. A very impressive Monday Night Football game. I've talked a lot about how I felt about the Patriots' performance, but I felt like the Bears were just super professional in that game, man. They came out, they were prepared. They had a unique game plan. They showed some things they haven't shown all year. They showed an offensive attack that might be successful long-term if they want to keep Justin Fields as their guy. I personally don't view Fields at this moment in time as a guy that you can be successful with long-term as a franchise quarterback, but he does have plenty of natural talent. He does have a strong arm. He can move very well, exceptionally well. He's a very good athlete. He can create plays as a playmaker. So get him running the football. Be a run-heavy attack, but run it with your running backs and run it with your athletic quarterback to open up those passing game options, play action specifically, and the screen game. I really liked how the offense played. I thought they really dominated a good Patriots defense on the road. And defensively, they continue to be very underrated. I like how they rush the passer. I like how they defend the run when they need to. And I feel like their secondary is super underrated. So give a lot of respect to the Bears for that win on Monday night. At number 26, the Saints. Saints are tough to rank because of all the injuries they have, but I do think the Saints are one of the worst teams in football. Their quarterback situation is a disaster regardless of who plays, Winston or Dalton. They both stink to me. The offensive line has been getting better, which is the one area where they've been getting some progress. That has opened up things in the running game. Still continue to love to see what Chris Olave is doing. And this team low-key has a lot of depth at playmaker, wide receiver, tight end, running back, guys that can make plays, guys that can do some things. And that's been impressive from them. Taysom Hill continues to be a freak show. Defensively, they're just super disappointing. Another terrible performance against Arizona. Lack of a pass rush. Secondary's beat up, but not playing well. And none of these veterans are stepping up. So at number 26, I got the Saints. At number 25, the Broncos. Just an utter disaster from an offensive standpoint. But I put them at 25 because of the defense. Defense gives them an opportunity no matter who they play. Their defense literally can shut down and slow down any team in the NFL. They might be the best defense in football right now. I mean, and that would be disappointing to see Bradley Chubb get traded. I feel like he's a good piece to keep long term, but hey, it looks like he might be on the trade block. We'll see what they can get from him if they can trade him at the deadline. Offensively, they're a disaster. They can't run the ball, can't throw the ball, can't protect, can't do anything well. There's no answers right now, and the quarterback situation is terrible. At number 24, the Arizona Cardinals. Some life in the offense. Nice to see Kyler Murray connecting with DeAndre Hopkins. Now, Kyler Murray still frustrates me for his inability to see over the line of scrimmage and his locking on of DeAndre Hopkins. I do feel there's weapons in this offense. I do feel there's playmakers in this offense. Eno Benjamin showed up big on that Thursday night game, and I feel like if this offense were to have Marquise Brown and D-Hop in there, man, it would be really tough to stop. The offense lacks creativity, but they've got plenty of playmakers. Defensively, they got plenty of playmakers. I do think they're a good combination of athleticism, some guys that are just freaks, on top of really good scheme. Now, they did not play very well. They are limited in terms of their depth of their talent, both in the run defense and the pass defense, but they can make plays and they can turn a game. So the Cardinals are at number 24. At number 23, I got the Jacksonville Jags. Very similar type of team as the Cardinals. Super inconsistent, super tough to rely on, super all over the place, and the coaching kind of does them some disservice at times in terms of going for it when maybe they shouldn't, being, I guess, too aggressive, kick the field goal, try to win the game. Quarterbacks are super talented, but super inconsistent. Offensive lines are subpar. I do think Jacksonville has a heck of a running back in Travis Etienne. I think he's a top 10 elite specimen out there. Defensively, super all over the place. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. I think the pass rush needs to be better for them to be consistent. Secondary is also super inconsistent. It's just an inconsistent young football team, and Doug Peterson's doing them no favors by just being too nonchalant with his decision-making. At number 22, the Cleveland Browns. Browns are a football team that do have clear strengths. Running the football is one of them, and play action is another. Jacoby Brissett played very well against the Ravens. I thought he made a ton of throws. I think they've got playmakers with Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Njoku, who is hurt now, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. They've got some guys there. Defensively, they've also got playmakers like Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett on the edge. JOK punched the football out for a turnover last week. They do got guys, Denzel Ward, to make some plays, but the defense just feels like they get outcoached too often, and they still are a little light up front. they can get ran on against big, powerful teams, and that makes them stress their secondary too much. They stack the box. They force their corners to be exposed. Their safeties are not the greatest. Offensively, when they're forced in a drop back pass, they're not the best team. I think they're limited in what they do, but they have some strengths. At number 21, the Atlanta Falcons, same thing. You know, Atlanta is limited with what their personnel offers them and what they do schematically, but they're very good at what they do. You know, I think they play very competitive, feisty football on defense. They did not against the Bengals, but they have most weeks. They do play bend but don't break. Last week, they suffered from those injuries and played break. That's what they did on defense, break. Offensively, they can run the football exceptionally well. That keeps them in games, that allows them to possess the ball, and Mariota makes a few plays every game. At 21, Atlanta's been a very competitive team. At number 20, the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not sure where to rank them due to the quarterback switch. I'm not sure how much of an upgrade or downgrade it is. Offensive line's inconsistent. Run game's inconsistent. Weaponry, Campbell's played well recently. Pierce has played well recently. Pittman is very good. Hines can catch the football in the backfield. Taylor is Taylor. They've got plenty of pieces there, more than I expected. But their offensive line has not been it. Their run game has not been it. And their defense has been very solid, but not elite enough to carry the team. At number 19, the Green Bay Packers. This is a very difficult team to rank. I still have faith in the Packers. I still have faith in Aaron Rodgers. Matt LaFleur, the faith has gone out the window. The offensive scheme, very simplistic. It's inside zone. It's outside zone. It's screen, bubble screen. It's fade ball. It's slant. It's too simplistic right now. Offensively, they've got to be better. So, at number 19, the Packers. I did enjoy how competitive their defense played against Washington. I thought they made a number of plays. I thought they played with energy. I thought they played pretty well in that game. At number 18, the Seattle Seahawks. I've got the Seahawks at 18. They whooped the Chargers this week. They do fall one spot short, spoiler alert, of the Chargers, just because I feel like they're not as good against the rest of the NFL. But Geno Smith's playing very well. They could very well, again, prove me wrong. I'm just still a little skeptical about the defense. Geno's playing well. The O-line's protecting him. They're running the ball with Kenneth Walker. I am a little suspect about DK Metcalf being potentially banged up and injured. And this is a football team that playing really good offense, dictating pace of play on offense, but defensively, they're just not there yet. They played well against the Chargers. They've been playing better in recent weeks, but I'm not willing to sell out and say, hey, this is a good football team now. So at number 18, I got the Seahawks. At 17, I got the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers, with Justin Herbert, I have faith they can move the football on most teams. But defensively, they are not good. They are bad. They need to get rid of Brandon Staley. He has not fixed their defense in the first couple years he's been there. They added a ton of talent in order to do so. Still couldn't fix it. They can't stop the run. They allow teams to dictate the pace of play because of that. And they just get in bad situations. And with some of his decision-making, they do themselves a disservice in certain times, in certain games, in certain moments. And their offense is too vanilla and it lacks speed. So at number 17, I got the Chargers. At number 16, I got the BUCS, the infamous Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady, I said he's playing scared. I believe it. I'll stand by it. He needs to play better in the pocket. He needs to be willing to make more aggressive throws. He needs to be willing to take more hits to make plays. But that being said, run game is historically bad. Look it up. Offensive line, pretty good in pass protection for the most part, but they're just too difficult on themselves. They shoot themselves in the foot. They don't execute. A guy will stop on a route. A guy will drop a pass. Brady will throw a pass at the dirt, maybe when he should take an extra second to develop the play. They don't have any easy plays. They don't have any easy screens, easy completions, easy yards in the offense right now. It's very tough to watch. The red zone is also not good. And defensively, they're being ran on. They've got plenty of injuries in the secondary, which is definitely going to hurt them in the pass game. And their pass rush is also inconsistent. So the defense isn't playing up to their level. The offense isn't playing up to their level. Something has to change with the coaching. They have to be able to adjust. This team has talent. I still have faith in TB12, but it's definitely being tested right now at number 16. At number 15, the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are the leader of the AFC South, and it's really solely because of Mike Vrabel. How he has this team playing, the mentality he has this team playing with, tough football, details, not being ran on, run the football, and all of a sudden you're in a close game, and they just find a way to make more plays than the other team. And it's as simple as that, and the Titans don't turn the football over. At number 14, the New Orleans Saints, the New York Jets. The New York Jets are a lot better than the New Orleans Saints. They're at number 14. The Jets are at 14 because of their defense. Their offense has done them no favors in these wins, really. And their offense is only going to get worse, losing arguably their best offensive lineman, losing their best offensive weapon, Breece Hall. Now, they did trade for James Robinson, which is nice, but I'm more concerned about the offensive line and how that might affect the running game and protect Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson has not been great. He's been protected. He's been kind of a bystander to these victories. At a certain point, they're going to have to throw the ball. They're going to have to make plays in the passing game. They haven't yet, and they need to prove that to me. On the other side of the ball, very, very good. Good against the run, penetration there. They dominate the line of scrimmage. They can get to the quarterback. They can make plays in the secondary. They've got guys that can shut down receivers, and I really like the way this team plays from a physical standpoint. They're fast, they're physical, and they do make plays on special teams. I like the Jets. I don't love the Jets. I could see the Jets taking a fall because I just don't think their offense is going to be able to do much moving forward. At number 13, I got the Patriots. These two teams play this week. We'll see who's better. I slightly favor the Patriots, so I got Patriots just one spot above. Now, the Patriots have a worse record. They were embarrassed by the Bears. I do expect a bounce back this week. I do expect a better effort. I do expect a better coached, more refined football team. I do expect an angry football team. And I do believe in the Patriots as potentially an AFC playoff team. I just feel like Belichick is going to get this team rolling. He needs to figure out who his quarterback's going to be. And once that happens, whether it's Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi, I personally think it will be Mac Jones, but he's coming off that injury. It's going to take some time. You're going to have to deal with some young rookie mistakes or some young interceptions. Now, I said to Mac, you got to play within yourself. You can't pretend you're Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. Play as Mac Jones. If he can do that and Matt Patricia can pair that with good, solid play calling that he had with Bailey Zappi with a strong defense, ideally, this is a pretty good football team. The image of what they want to be is there. We've seen it this year. They've got to piece it together. I think they can, and I think this is a big game against the Jets at number 13. At number 12, I got the LA Rams. Not really because I love the Rams, but more so because I don't love the other middling teams. The Rams are coming off a bye, are potentially getting healthier. On the offensive line especially would be helpful. We'll see what they can look like with Henderson as the lead back running the football. They still need to find answers outside of Cooper Kupp at receiver. Maybe they make a trade. Maybe they sign Odell back. Defensively, they're well taught. They are well schooled. They play the run well. They compete. They're not as good as last year, but they're still solid. Offensively, they could use some work, but this is McVay. This is Stafford. I still believe that the team can make the playoffs at number 12. At number 11, I got the Las Vegas Raiders. I understand they're 2-4. People are going to hate me for putting them at 11. They just handled the Texans in that fourth quarter, 38-21. And this is the third highest scoring team in football. You know, they are 2-4, but they have the third most points in football. And when you're scoring at the rate they're scoring right now, and they're running the ball at such a clip, that's utter dominance right now against these teams. Their offensive line is playing well above expectation. Josh McDaniels is doing a hell of a job. Funny how nobody talks about that when he starts to win games, but that's just the way the NFL is, I guess. Extremely biased against Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels can coach football. He's a good football coach, and this team's going to continue to get better under him. Now, the defense does have its questions. If they don't get a pass rush, they are a bit weak in the secondary. Their run defense is solid, but not dominant. I feel like the Raiders are a playoff team. I'm not sure if they're going to get there because of the early season struggles, but they are a playoff team. And I think they're that team in the AFC that is not really being talked about, that a lot of these top teams don't want to play in the AFC because they can score and they can move the ball and they can run the ball and they can really put together good game plans in order to compete against a team like Kansas City. We saw that on Monday night on the road. So at number 11, I got the Raiders. At number 10, I got the Ravens. I don't love how the Ravens are playing, but they're picking up wins for the most part, and they are well coached, and they do play good special teams, and Justin Tucker's a weapon, and Lamar Jackson's a beast, and Mark Andrews, hurt, but playing, really good this year. Offensive line's playing better. They're running the ball good, but they certainly have flaws. The defense, flawed. They can't really get a pass rush without blitzing. They put their corners on islands too often. And offensively, their passing game as a whole is a kind of a mess. So they've got holes, they've got flaws, but coached well, schemed well, and Lamar's really good. So at number 10, I got the Ravens. At number 9, the Dolphins. I don't love this pick at number 9. I'm not confident in it, especially after how Tua looked against the Steelers. Should have thrown like 5 picks. He didn't. But the Dolphins, the offense is actually a lot worse than you think it is. Tyreek's putting up numbers. Mostert's playing well. Tua is being applauded for his play, but he's been okay, inconsistent. I feel like this is a team that looks like a team that's scoring 30 points a game, but they're not. I mean, when you really look at it. Defensively, they've been inconsistent. Their pass rush has been inconsistent. Their run defense has been inconsistent. Their coverage has been inconsistent. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries. I do think they're a very talented defense that sometimes just the style they play is very hit and miss because they play so much man coverage. Sometimes you could just be exposed. Sometimes you have a bad game. Sometimes you run into bad matchups individually. So the Dolphins are at number 9. They can be a team that can compete with the best, but they can also be a team that can slip up quite often. So at number 9, the Dolphins. At number 8, the Giants. They just continue to win. They continue to piece these games together. They continue to find a way, and you got to applaud that. You got to give them that respect. That's why they're in my top 10. Are they the most talented team in the league? No, but they're very well prepared. They execute in situations. Third down, they extend drives. They do a good job running the football. They do a good job getting Saquon the football, who's their number 1 alpha playmaker. They're very well coached on both sides. Their interior defensive line's very hard to play against. They make plays in the secondary. And Graham Gano is an excellent kicker. That's another guy that just keeps making his kicks. So at number 8, I got the Giants. Just tough team to play because they're a tough physical football team. They're very well coached. And Daniel Jones deserves more respect. At number 7, the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings, I'm not super confident in for a team that I have at number 7, but they've only lost 1 game, I believe. Their defense did play better the last time I saw them. They rushed the passer very well. Their secondary can be exposed, but if they play a team that's not great on the offensive line, they can get pressure on you, especially in Minnesota, in that loud noise and dome, and their defense has improved against the run. Offensively, they're solid. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. Justin Jefferson demands attention. That opens up things for other people. Kirk Cousins is pretty good. The Vikings are a pretty good team in a league with a bunch of average teams right now, and they're taking advantage of that at number 7. At number 6, I got the Niners. I understand they're 3-4. I don't really care. They just lost to the Chiefs, okay? Now, they were really in that game for a large portion of it, about 3 quarters. Game got away from them when Jimmy G threw the football into the opponent's hands in the red zone. I think inside the 5-yard line. Jimmy G can Jimmy G, and sometimes it happens. Your defense not healthy against probably the best offense in football right now, the Kansas City Chiefs. Couldn't stop them. Didn't have the answers. DeMeco Ryans did not have a good game. It happens. It's cool. But what I see with this football team is a ton of potential to get better offensively. The offensive line continues to get healthier. Christian McCaffrey is going to be really good in this offense. We already saw glimpses of that against the Chiefs. And they've got a ton of weapons. I mean, Kittle's playing really well. Debo's not playing his best, but should play better. Ayuk's playing really, really well. And I like how Kyle is scheming it up. I do think they should run the ball a bit more, and I think they will when McCaffrey gets fully involved in the offense. If they can do that, they can give their defense a little bit of a break, and start to control the game on the ground, which will allow them to win games on offense instead of only on defense. But this team could be really, really good by the end of the year if that formula comes together, because their defense can get healthy and become the best in football again. At number 5, I've got the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals have really turned things around. Offensively, they're creating more explosive plays. They're just generally passing the ball more on early downs. Joe Burrow's playing better. He's playing smarter. The offensive line has improved. Defensively, they've been a little bit worse, to be honest with you, but I still believe that they're a very well-coached defense with a couple big-time playmakers, and it's just really tough to compete with their offense with all the weapons they have. So at number 5, I've got the Bengals. Because of that, even if another team's maybe more well-rounded than them, maybe they got a better coach than them, maybe they got, a better offense, maybe, like the Bengals are just one of those teams that any given day against any given opponent, if Jamar Chase is just catching everything and Joe Burrow is just putting everything on the money, it's hard to beat them, especially in Cincinnati. At number 4, the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys can play a defensive football game. I like the trade for Jonathan Hankins, which improves their run defense. I do think their defense is very talented, and they're very good against the pass, which is first and foremost important in the NFL today. They've got a lot of speed, and they got a lot of athletes, and Dan Quinn is a very good coach. I like how Mike McCarthy is putting his team in a position to succeed with his vision for the team, allowing them to be a defensive team. I like how they're running the ball. I like how their offensive line's playing. I do want to see more from their passing game. That's holding them back from being an elite level team, in my opinion. At number 3, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. You could argue they're number 2. I didn't move the Eagles this week. I got the Chiefs at 3 still. They had a very impressive offensive performance against the Niners, though. I will say that. That was very impressive. And if they can continue to do that, I'll put them right alongside the Bills. But they did lose to the Bills. At number 2, the Eagles. Eagles are undefeated. It's all that really matters at the end of the day. Jalen Hurts playing good. Although I do question, when he has to trail in games, which hasn't happened very often, how he may fare. The defense, really, really good. Kind of slept on. Really strong defensive line. Stronger secondary than expected. And they can run the ball better than anybody in the league right now. So, at number 2, the Eagles. And number 1 is the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are the number 1 team in the NFL. They're favored by 11.5 over Aaron Rodgers at home. What does that really, tell you? They're really dominant. Bettors are scared to bet against this team because of how well they can just explode and cover large spreads. And Josh Allen's the best quarterback for my money. Defense is very, very good, probably top 3 in football. And they've got plenty of playmakers around Allen. Pretty good coaching staff. I like the Bills, and they've got a great home field. That Bills team in January, in Buffalo, in the cold, there's not many quarterbacks that can match Josh Allen in the cold. There's not many teams that can go to Buffalo in that environment and compete score for score, shot for shot, punch for punch. The Bills should win the Super Bowl this year. And honestly, if they don't, it will be disappointing. So they're my number 1 team in the NFL, and I don't think they're going anywhere. Those are my power rankings for week number 8. Gronk, spike the like button, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's Mitch. Let me know what you thought of my power rankings and leave yours below. Peace!